And these will be, well, no, I have to say hello. I'm sorry. Hello, hey babes. I'm so glad that you stopped by to spend some time with me and check out my recent favorites. And this one is non-beauty, non-makeup related, but it includes fragrance. So let's start with the fragrance. Because especially I think many of you are also quite supportive and sometimes only show up, to show some love, drop a like, drop a view, and a comment, and I'm so grateful for that, that you would even click only to support me, even though you wouldn't care about the subjects. But maybe you are interested in some fragrances that I like, and some books. So let me start off with the Bronze Goddess, and this is the Eau de Parfum, and I think this is new for this summer, and it is the original Bronze Goddess fragrance, as I absolutely love it. Um, I'm sorry, I've been talking for such a long time now. The thing is, it it has a, I cannot say dry down. It stays the original Bronze Goddess fragrance for the whole day. The next day, or as let's say at night when you lay down, you might get a quite intense zesty base that is, it's hard to explain, that makes me prefer wearing the body lotion to enjoy this fragrance, because it just gets warmer and a bit, almost a bit into vanilla on your skin, while this do you know the Soleil Blanc by Tom Ford, or the Euphoria by Charlotte Tilbury, or something like that? What was the original one that came up with this zesty sun fragrance? Because I'm always annoyed when Tom Ford is the first reference, even though he did not come up with this fragrance ID. Well, however, so it has a slight aftertaste, aftermath of something like that, but that kicks in quite late. So when you put this on in the morning and you shower at night, it's gone. So you only get to enjoy the real Bronze Goddess fragrance in this one, and I love it. It's, to me, it's a summer staple. It's also hard to describe. Oh, and by the way, I read that there was Monoi in this, so I was intrigued and thought it might play up the original Bronze Goddess with something new, but maybe I just missed out that the original Bronze Goddess fragrance has a lot of Monoi in it already, which I don't think, you don't get the character of this Monoi, the actual something that makes you go, yeah, this is Monoi. This is not what this fragrance is like. It just has this warmth of Monoi that feels like skin warm from the sun. These are the things that make life so beautiful, right? Okay, and then the next fragrance, Givenchy Irrésistible. What is it even called? Only Nectar? Yeah, Eau de Parfum Nectar. I'm a great fan of this line. There are exceptions, but I love the original. I really like the rose velvet. I love the nude velvet. Nude velvet is, I don't know, when I just sprayed it in store, it didn't feel special. That one was one that really came to life on my skin, I have to say. And even though I did not like spraying it in store, when I spray it onto myself, it starts up with such an interesting, a bit more. It's nothing playful, feminine, sweet that we know from this line. Nude Velvet starts off. Oh, I hope I don't regret sharing this. Fragrance. I'm not a gatekeeper at all, not at all. But one of my first signature fragrances was the first original Dior Addict fragrance, I think in 2000 or 2001. When it first came out, I got it right away as a teenager, and it was my fragrance. It was heavy and intense and a bit slutty, actually. And I liked it a lot, but I think I had it for 6 months, maybe a year. It was my fragrance, and then it took off, and I smelled it everywhere, and then I started to hate it. So, I'm a bit sensitive about fragrance, about sharing fragrance. I have to admit. It's not that I'm this great niche perfume connoisseur or anything like that, but um, I think I could hear the. Sorry, I'm occupying this room, but I will be gone soon, so my kid can sing his songs again while playing. He was so good. He had a lot to study, but now it's the weekend, right? You did understand that. I like that you understood.
Yeah.
So now to this fragrance, this was a blind buy because I was sure I wanted this, and I sprayed it and I regretted it so much. So there is a very loud layer of this new popular sweet aquatic kind of thing. It's in the, what is it called? Chanel Mademoiselle Soirée. I don't know. It has a sweet aquatic. The new Gautier fragrance, this golden one, has this sweet aquatic note to it. And it's also in this one. So that immediately cheapened it down quite a bit for me personally. It has the irresistible DNA, you know. I feel silly saying this, but it's the best way to let you know what I mean. The original irresistible DNA is in there as like a background noise, and I mean, it's a sweet version of this, which I did want. I don't feel indifferent about it. There are days where I like to spray this, but I will say in comparison to a nude velvet, it's a great disappointment because it does lack. Maybe I just think it does lack depth because it's not because it's so sweet, and that in general seems cheaper, trashier, and so on. When I have noticed when I spray this directly on my skin, I like it a lot more. On my skin, it does develop something that almost reminds me one of my longtime favorites, YSL Baby Doll, but long time discontinued. I still have something, and it's a very loved winter fragrance of mine. So yeah, directly on my skin, it almost develops a bit of that baby doll personality or identity, whatever you want to say it in this weird fragrance lingo. And I regretted getting this so much. And it surely, and I would, if I ran out of this, which, listen, when I walk out the door, I want to feel my best self to conquer the world. I'm not walking out the door to conquer the world at the moment, sadly, but best case scenario. So, um, this is not the fragrance I would put on to feel like my best self, but this is a fragrance that I spray onto myself when I walk by and I want to get a whiff of coziness. Not ultimately comforting, not something that speaks to my soul, awakening childhood memories. The Lion de Chanel sometimes does that for me because it has a bit of the iodine thing that my grandfather used to put on wounds. Yes, this was a great regret of mine. I still find pleasure in having it now. I would not recommend it to smell your best self. It's a hard one. It's difficult, but I feel like I'm much more likely I would for sure. If I ran out of this, I would first get the Miu Miu Mutine fragrance. I think they are comparable in that the Mutine has something of the irresistible DNA with layers of sweetness. And I also think it switches things up because the flacon is also very beautiful and interesting and well done. And I think I would like that fragrance more. I don't know, maybe I would use it and it would smell like crap on my skin, uh, on my chemistry. It might be, and this might be the fragrance that I hate at first and that just smells good on me personally. You know what I mean? Things like that happen. So I don't know about that. Long term, I would tell you about that, but right now, I don't know. It's a bit. It's a bit very sweet. It smells very ordinary when you spray it at first. I feel like it might be a fragrance that I do feel more special about, considering how it wears on my skin. I hope you could not see mine. Did not shave my armpit. And now, oh no, we have another fragrance. I already shared this last spring. This is such a beautiful spring fragrance. This is Clarins Par Amour, toujours eau de toilette. And oh great, it's dusty. And it has a little heart-shaped thing here. I'm so glad that this is 50 mils. I usually always get 30 mils because I think it. One thing is that I honestly much prefer, this is 35 mils. I much prefer a small bottle to, for ease of use. I don't want a huge bottle that I have to stabilize with two hands spraying it so I don't drop it on the floor. You know what I mean? I don't want a 100 ml perfume bottle. And I despise that Chanel would offer the most expensive perfumes. I think what's the smallest? Do they even offer? I don't think they have a 50 ml. I think it starts with 100 ml. 100 and 200, and you have to pay an arm and a leg. And you don't know if you grow tired of it, if you get sick of it, if it maybe you experience something terrible wearing it and you don't ever want to wear it again. How about that? Do I want 100 mils of that fragrance? I don't think so. So that is a very crappy, that actually that makes me not want the Lion de Chanel. I want a 30 mil of that, and I will get it if you offer 30 mils, but not before that Chanel. So I prefer a small bottle, but here I am glad that I have 50 mils. And you know what? If it was 100 mils, there were years that I didn't use this, and that sometimes happens with a fragrance. And now I enjoy it so much for spring, and I will, looking at this, judging how much I started off last or 2 years ago, I will have maybe 4 or 5 more beautiful years with this one until it's gone. And the fragrance will be, uh, this was bought 2005. And the fragrance by then will also be unusable, you know? So I'm glad this is 50 mils. And because of its shape, because here the distance between the spray and the bottom is so slim and it's wider, I cannot drop it pushing down, so I can hold it with one hand. So that's perfect. So I don't mind the bigger bottle.
Bigger bottle.
Yeah, thanks for that echo. But yeah, I wouldn't want 100 mils unless you really spray your perfume all over your bed at night, right? One can do that, but it's I'm too broke for that. I really am. Now let me share for once these favorites. And let's start off with a favorite that was a favorite for the wintertime. It will now go back into the DVD drawer. I was pleasantly surprised to see that many people go back to CDs and DVDs. I never stopped, you know. One thing is the you pay fees and then you don't have it. Like what? No, I don't think so. That's one thing. And then maybe your internet breaks down, and then what? And then you want to watch something and you can. I don't like this to depend like this. And so in general, I don't love, and don't give me a digital book. Don't, no. um it, there's nothing worse than having to read something on a screen for me. I love to read, and I'm a good reader. I'm a fast and good reader, but I just don't like it for my eyeballs. It just gives me the ick. And now this will go back into the drawer because this is a wintertime favorite. And cold temperatures just recently went into the past. They are before us again. However, Berge und Geschichten, Louis Trenker erzählt. I don't think that this has subtitles. I think I should check when I watch this again, but gosh, I love Louis Trenker. I highly recommend his autobiography. And even if you don't understand German, this is such a good series. I think it's a good reason to learn some some German. But this whole setup is, he tells his stories, which is absolutely the highlight of everything, because I love the way what he tells us, the way he tells us. It's just amazing and uh, so endearing. And The stories themselves are so insightful and interesting and exciting, and also put some perspective to our modern times and our thinking and priorities and such. So, but besides this absolute highlight of this, it's just so well done. The footage, the way it's edited, the music to it. There's a lot of Ennio Morricone in there as well. um, it's a piece of art. It's a work of art. It really is, not only because of Luis Trenka, but also the music chosen, the editing. I find it very unfortunate that they did not even list the person who did the music in this. Edit is by Josef Jovancic, and yeah, it's so director Helmut Beutel. It's such a great DVD. I'm not sure if they still produce it or if you only can get it secondhand. It's amazing. And on the same note, I got Louis Trenker, Mutig und heitig durchs Leben. This is just some little snippets about when it starts off with his childhood. Obviously, I really enjoy his the way he writes, his language, his stories. Again, it's just so pleasant and full of life and full of his personality in every way. And I'm pretty sure I technically would know a great deal of these stories from his autobiography, but I read that one, I think 2016. So even when you really enjoy and love something, so many things happen since then, and my mind is so cluttered. So I read it as if I haven't. I well, when I read it, some things I do remember, but it does not diminish the joy of reading it again, of reminding myself of these stories. And it's just a short little thing, and for me the pleasure is in reading it to my son, and even reading it together, like one or two chapters on a Sunday morning.
I love it. It's a very good book.
It's a very good book. We love Louis Trenker, and it's just a treat to start a beautiful fat Sunday uh, right the right way. Another great find, and this I put in there by chance. I was looking for how do you call it, music sheets, music notes. I forgot how you call it, but you know what I mean. I looked for Prokofiev uh Romeo and Juliet music, and to play it off the sheet music. I think this is what you call it. And here I found Prokofiev, about Prokofiev, and this is autobiographic, based on his diaries. He he did that. He wrote that himself, and it's now we just started here. I'm reading it to my son. He's very also very how do you say that in English? We just love music, and he's also a great violin player, and so I thought it would just be very interesting and insightful to get to know such a genius musical mind. And so it starts off with the history of his family. it's beautifully translated. This is a German translation from the late 70s, I think, because translations are where it's at as well. It's when you depend on it, sadly so, then it also has to be a good translation. And since it's from late 70s, you have honestly, unfortunately, you have a greater chance of getting a very enjoyable translation. Later ones tend to be a great deal more simple in the in their expression, and yeah, so I really like to take note of the people who translate things as well. um so this is very well done and very entertaining. He's a very entertaining guy. The things that he says, for example, in his he starts off and claiming, well, one important thing about judging his own diaries for the afterworld is that when he wrote, oh, this deal didn't come together, full stop, he was actually quite devastated. That's what he wrote down, and isn't that cute? It's such a cute little, notion, is that the word, to add here. So he wanted to make sure that he was really upset, even though he only put it in one very laconic sentence. So that's a very interesting, great book. It's secondhand. I don't know how, where, and maybe a new translation this is produced and sold now, but very, very beautiful. And I feel like when I look at this, I don't even know what this is right now. Okay, listen. This is his first invention of his own alphabet. And I mean, I guess most children like to create their own language and alphabet, but also my son particularly loved this a lot. So this is something that you like, right?
Yeah.
This is so cool. This is so cool. I'm excited to go through this. I'm excited to read what he has to tell us about this. Yeah, such a good book. And then speaking of great translations, before this video cuts off, I just want to mention this book by Alberto Moravia. We actually read this last summer. For me, something that plays in Rome is a summer delight, nothing for the wintertime. Lustrenka is more for the winter. It's cozier. So Moravia then is something for the summertime, right? And I just wanted to mention this because this translation, if you are a German speaker, this translation by Madame Lida Vinjevich. If you buy books secondhand, look out for her name because she is amazing, very great. I mean, I did find some errors here and there, but
I thought you found it very ugly.
Well, I'm not speaking of the story. He said I found it ugly. The story itself, well, there is some sexual awakening stuff with full-grown babysitters and such. So that is there was some nasty elements to it, but that was the story. I'm speaking about the language right now. And um well, yeah, I found very teeny tiny errors, but as a whole, her expression, the beauty of her language, what she describes, is very alive and captivating. So she's a very, very great translator. When was this published? 1988. So yeah, this is just the most important reason to buy books secondhand, to find these gems and these great translations, and these hidden artists, really, that are not known for a wider public, but make such a great difference in literature and its form of art, right? So oh, and there's another favorite, because I like to, pick up on some more Italian. When it gets warm, I get um, I desire, of course, Italy. And then I also like to learn more Italian again, and I like to. Recently, I picked up the show Il Vigile Urbano again, and unfortunately, those YouTube videos don't have subtitles. Nonetheless, sometimes I can pick up some new phrases here and there, and I like to write them down watching. And yeah, it's fun. Lino Banfi is a great character and comedian. And my last favorite is that a new pizza place opened up right across the street with very good pizza. So that's not important.
Oh, yeah.
Not important to you, but to us, it is a great opener.
It is life changing.
Life changing. The blue in the sky looks like summer again, and the sun is hot, and I am just waiting for these tiny gliding birds that only come when it's hot. They are not here yet.
What sailors?
I have to look it up and put it in the description box. Yes, I'm so excited for them to return, because they add the sound of summer.